In the last video, I covered how to create this kind of circular tread that we'll be having right here. So you see we have that first part of the tread. So this video I'll show you how to kind of make this the remaining or the other part of the tread, which is kind of this outer portion here that then goes to this bigger portion here. So what you want to start off by doing is we want to just simply want to kind of just trace this outline. So I'm going to start that by doing or holding control, right clicking there, and then go to a plane. We just want to make a simple plane. It doesn't be big, it can be pretty small as you see here. Okay. So once we got that plane, we can right click on it and go to convert Elbow Poly, and then we'll go to our edge selection here. And I'm just going to select that edge, you can see, and then with my move tool I can move it all around. Okay. So now with the edge selection, if you hold shift and the move tool enabled, you can move these edges out as you can see here. So I'm actually going to change this real quickly. Where it says plane, I'm going to change that to just a different color. It's a little easier for me to see. There you go. Okay, so now I can see the white line a little better. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to basically follow by just simply selecting the edge, holding shift with my move tool enabled, and just click and drag it out. Just like that. And so you're going to follow that along the whole entire sole of the shoe. And don't worry about bumping this part. We're going to clean all that up later on. Do worry about trying to keep the inside of this line true. So that is that's what we do right here. Occasionally you'll want to select some vertexes to clean it up a little bit. And you can do that. And then once you clean it up, go back to your edge selection. Just keep on grinding away at the silhouette of this. So I'll probably speed this portion of the video up, and then we'll slow down once we get to this other side here. So something else I like to note, you can select your vertex, and as you get up here, you're going to have to start to kind of swing around here. So you want to make sure that you are smoothly adjusting this as you go. So now that I've adjusted that, I can move this here. Then again, I want to just try to make them as quad as possible around this toe area. And this will help later on when it comes to dividing up the mesh for the to cut out for the circular pattern. Okay, so now we are getting close to this point where you can you have to start to create kind of connect the back part to this looping front part. So what we're going to do here is, again, we are going to use our line selection and just pull this out just about that far. Do the same thing over here, select that edge and pull it out similar equally. So now what we do is we'll connect these two here to create this kind of lip there. So I'm going to select that, holding control, select the next one. Now if you look in your edit edge, there'll be something called bridge. You want to click on that little settings box. So as you see there, it connects to two, but we want to actually be two segments. So by default it's one, we're just going to move that one up to two. Once you got that, hit the check mark. So now you can select this middle line and you're going to want to line it up right there. Okay, perfect. So next we will start to we'll actually start to kind of fill out the rest of the shoe. I'm going to select those. And actually I want to go ahead and create some more divisions here. So I want to create a division that kind of can follow along this one, and then one that can follow along this, as well as one that goes kind of down the middle here. So I'll select this one, or these two edges. I'll hold control, select these two edges, and then I'm going to right click, hit connect. And by default, connect will connect each one of those segments one time. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm actually going to move this, kind of line this up a little bit better with this tread, and we'll line this up a little more true to this tread. Okay, so now we should be good. So I'm going to select all these edges here that are facing towards the heel, and then holding, so again, same technique, holding shift, and we'll drag it out. Okay, and so now if you were to hit Alt and X, it'll create a see-through mode, so you can actually see through polygons. So Alt X, now this is now transparent for the time being. So you just want to try to line up these as best you can with your tread. Doesn't have to be perfect. At this point, we want to make this kind of towards the middle of that kind of circular shape, and that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good there. Okay. And so again, I'm going to select these 6 edges, holding shift, I'm going to drag out, and then I'm going to go back to my vertex mode. I'm going to adjust these so that they line up fairly well with the tread of the shoe. And later on we'll actually come through and cut in the correct tread. Okay, so 6, drag out, and then go back through. We just want to make this look very similar as far as the shape of the sole. So keep in mind, this is our high poly version. So you know, you can, for one, you'll be able to get higher amounts of polygons, and it won't be as big of it won't be as taxing on your system after we have baked down these high polys to the low. And another thing with that is we'll be able to kind of create, you know, we have a little more flexibility as far as creating n-gons and unfinished shapes, because I mean, this is all just going to be a display or something that's going to be baked in. So if something doesn't line up, you know, it doesn't always have to be you know, perfectly lined up. You know, we can actually overlap some polygons, because later on they will be used to just as a baked mesh. That's it. Okay, so again, shift, drag that out, and then here we actually are starting to get into a kind of the circular shape. So I'm going to go ahead and start to drag that out. I'm going to start to actually make this the roundest shape we want. So just again with the, make sure that you're getting your polygons or your vertex all lined up how you want them, so that you can have this round shape later on. In fact, I'm actually going to go ahead and weld this. So I right click on the vertex, hit target weld, and weld it right there. And that'll just help me create this shape here. And then I'm going to select, so now I'm just going to just do the outside again, and then later on I'll come back through and make sure this tread is, I want to make sure this tread at this point is kind of following the tread my reference image. So again, I'm just selecting the edge, going to the vertex, select the edge, pull it out with hit shift, and then drag that where I want it to be dragged with the move tool. Okay, so I'm going to go now to this other side and start to shape this how it should be shaped. Okay, so just work that all the way around. just like that. Oops. So shift, drag, get my vertex, move that. And once we get here, we actually will select the 2. We'll go to our bridge and just make sure that is back down to 1 segment. And there you go. So now, as you can see here, we have this kind of round shape. And actually, I'm going to select all these edges right here. To the exception, I don't want to select that one, but this one. I'm going to just drag these down. And then I'll actually go to my scale tool and scale these in just a little bit. Okay. So drag them down, scale them in, and now I can, with my vertex selected, right click and just weld this there. I'll weld this one. Oops. I will weld this one to there. So now I have that tread going on again. Let's see. Yep, and then we have, so now if we turn off with Alt X, we turn off our, as you can see here, we have kind of some crazy looking shapes. So I'm going to start off by let's see if I can just select it all and hit cap. Okay. So now I want to select my vertices, go to weld. I just want to make sure everything's welded, and it looks like it is. So now from here, I'm going to select the 2, and then go to connect. And again, select 2 more, connect, and the last 2, connect. Okay, so now we have that portion of the shoe there created, just like that. So what we need to do now is convert all this into tread. So I'm going to go back to my bottom view. I'm going to first select, so hit Q to make this a selection tool. I select all that there. I actually want to inset this, and the reason I want to inset it is so that I can, as you can see right here, have this shape right here. So I'm going to right click on there, go to inset, hit the settings bar. I want to just inset it just a little bit to give myself something to work with here. That should be just fine. Okay. And each shoe can be a little different, so your shoe probably looks significantly different than mine, which is perfectly fine. I'm going to insert this one more time. This time a little bit more. Before I actually do that, I want to I see I have some overlapping issues, so my vertex selected, I'll go target weld. I'm going to actually weld this to there, this one to there, and I'll weld this right there. Okay. So now I should be able to select all these in the middle, go to my inset it a little more, just like that. Okay. Now, as you saw in the reference, we have these all poking up, but there's that kind of, they're separated a little bit. So I'm going to select this whole entire row, and then I'm actually holding Alt. I'm going to drag across and deselect all those. Might need to select one more, so we'll just do everything that's connected to this big sole piece. And then again, I'm going to select all of these here. Just like that. Now what I'm going to do now is another inset. So And so as group, we actually want to go by polygon and right click on the amount to make it 0 and just edge up just a little bit, like just enough to have some of the separation there, as you can see. Okay, now we got that. We're going to go and extrude. So we're going to extrude this, and by default it'll be really high, which we don't want high heels. So we're just going to extrude it just a little bit. I say probably 0.08 should be fine. Just enough to give it some depth. So then holding control. So we have our face selected. Now we're gonna hold control, hit this edge. What that'll do is it'll select all the edges associated with that face. So you see here, all of our faces now have just the edge selection. I'll right click there and go to chamfer. And chamfer's gonna look a little crazy, so we want the chamfer amount to be 0, and then we're gonna just slowly ease this up. So just a little chamfer something to give it a corner. We're actually going to go chamfer type, quad chamfer. Change this to change your tension to 0.5. That'll make it a little smoother. You can just adjust this however you feel necessary. So this will kind of soften up the edges a little bit. Sorry, 0.5 is what you want to adjust that to, your edge tension. Okay, so you can see here now we have now we have our tread on the back part of the shoe ready to go. Okay, and then we can start working on the inner part of the shoe right here. So again, I'm going to, and this, in each shoe's gonna be a little different. So here, this is gonna be my preference, since I really don't have a great view of what this shoe should be looking like. I will be pushing this in, so go to my extrude. I'm actually going to make this negative. So now I'll push in, and then again holding, hold shift and click the edge. Now it'll select the borders of that, and we'll go to my chamfer, and the setting should be locked in there from the previous time. And then I'm going to select this, and I'm going to go to inset, and it should be selected from the previous one, and I'm going to extrude that in again, holding shift. I will hit the edge selection and select all the insides of the borders of those of that tread, and chamfer it one more time. So now we have this nice chamfered tread, or nice tread on the soles here. Okay, so now one last thing for finishing this portion off, I'm going to select the border, and holding shift, I'm going to drag that straight down to give this some depth. And right now we'll just drag it out. Later on we'll actually look into exactly how far we want to be going with that. So now you have your tread 1, which is this big circular portion. You have your tread 2, which we'll call it, which is the remaining portion. Okay, so in the next video I will go over how to do, so now this will be the part where we have to actually start to trim the tread together. As you can see here, we have these portions coming across, and so it's actually going to be knocking out some of these of the tread 1, and then connecting tread 1 to tread 2, and then also these little portions here, how to make those connect, and then we'll close up the remaining open portions that are flat. So we'll be covering that in the next video.